Hi, this is Morley and this is the M-Wire. Well folks, the volcano is showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. It is just blazing probably 1,000 to 2,000 meters into the air right now. The lava has reached the ocean, as you already know. Here's some footage of that. And most notably, there is a pretty substantial increase in the amount of earthquake activity under La Palma. As you can see, these earthquakes are basically in the 2 range. We're not even getting the small earthquakes anymore. That's long since been over. And this is approximately within the last 20 or so hours. But most notably, we have a 3.4 and a 3.5 earthquake, probably within an hour and a half of each other. That is very concerning, folks. If another fissure opens, it's anyone's guess as to the trajectory of the lava, because we don't know if and where it's going to open. But these earthquakes, folks, in my humble opinion, are signs that there's going to be even more fissures. I'm not trying to cause alarm here, but just by what I'm observing here, this is not a volcano that seems to be simmering down. And that is pretty much the entire premise of this entire situation. It's unpredictable. This volcano could erupt for the next 3 weeks, the next 3 months, or perhaps even the next 3 years. That isn't exactly even impossible. Even the top volcanologists in the world cannot tell you when this is going to stop, or if and when another fissure is going to open. This is a highly fluid situation that can change momentarily, because it didn't take long, if you recall, for the first fissure to open was preceded by a bunch of earthquakes, and it was probably about a 3.4 or 5 that triggered the first fissure. Here's the entire earthquake map since this entire thing got started. Notice the ups and downs, but the recent down when people thought that the volcano had stopped erupting is the dip at the end on the right. But as you can see, the volcanic activity has picked right back up again with the recent 3.4 and 3.5 respectively. I'm now going to get into what Volcano Discovery has to say about this volcano as of September 30th, 2021. The lava flow remains active and has already constructed a sizable new lava delta reaching out perhaps a few hundred meters into the sea. At the active cone, the lower vent continues to produce a lava fountain and feed that remain lava flow. The vents at the summit were seen generating dense ash columns drifting east towards the ocean. Here are some impressions of how the scene looked at around 1 p.m. today. Eruption continues, tremor rising gradually, more quakes, what it could mean. Since the violent restart of activity on Monday evening, the eruption has been going on with more or less stable lava output from the vent, and the volcanic tremor has been stable. During this morning, a tendency of increasing activity seems to be manifesting itself. Interestingly, more quakes have started to occur again, mostly at the 10 to 15 kilometer depth and the central part of the volcano. There were 6 quakes of magnitude 3.0 or above and 21 quakes between 2 and 3. The latest 3+ magnitude quake occurred only 1.5 hours ago and was felt again by the local population. Inflation and ground deformation have picked up as well during the last 12 hours or so, after they had been leveling out the days before. What could all this mean? We cannot say for sure, but one possible interpretation could be that the quakes and inflation reflect new magma intruding at depth from where it might connect to the shell tower system and further supply the eruption. It could also lead to new vents forming depending on how effective the current magma feeding system is to counteract the building pressure underground. The next days will likely be very interesting to follow. Now, interestingly enough, folks, the last eruption of La Palma was in 1971. However, the last eruption before that was in 1949, and basically that eruption caused this split pretty much where we're seeing all this earthquake activity now. So that's a very interesting factoid about this situation. Now, in regards to the toxic gas situation, as you can see, folks, those gases clearly are swirling around the newly minted part of La Palma. Now, it stands to reason that the area where the lava has just hit the water and basically expanding the island is where the noxious gases are probably the most dangerous, and quite frankly, I certainly wouldn't want to breathe them in, and nor would you. But according to the Spanish government, the air on other parts of the island still is safe to breathe. Hopefully that remains so, because like I say, folks, the lava trajectory could change at any time, which means that the lava trajectory could change as well, perhaps even destroying more property, perhaps even going into the ocean at a completely different spot. Obviously, if a new fissure opens, that's anyone's guess as to how this situation will progress from there. I found this very interesting article just on the gases alone and what the real impact could potentially be going forward. 10 days into a volcanic eruption on the Spanish island of La Palma, a pyramid-like structure formed on Wednesday just off its coast. Lava started pouring into the ocean. The local authorities called on residents on Wednesday morning to keep their windows shut because a mix of toxic gases and small particles be released when molten lava comes into contact with cold water. Scientists have also been warning that chemical reactions between lava and water could cause powerful underwater explosions. Well, I haven't seen too many underwater explosions, but that's not to say that it couldn't happen in the future. We are dealing with a very, quite, no pun intended, volatile and fluid situation here. The lava entering the water should be treated as a very dangerous moment, said Angel Victoria Torres, the regional leader of the Canary Islands, an island grouping off northwestern Africa that includes La Palma. The eruption began on September 19th in La Cumbre Veija Nature Park, a thinly populated area of La Palma where 85,000 people live. It has forced over 6,000 residents to evacuate as the lava and fire cut a path of destruction that swept away more than 500 houses. While banana plantations and other areas of farmland have also been wiped out, there have been no reports of deaths or injuries. That in itself is a small miracle, folks, that no one's been hurt or injured throughout this. But let's keep a perfect record, shall we? Let's over-prepare if absolutely necessary. Oh, as a footnote, that little miracle house, the one that avoided the lava initially, it got consumed by the lava. So that's case in point of lava changing trajectory right there. Scientists said it remained unclear how long the eruption would last. Over the past 10 days, the volcano has released more than 50 million cubic meters of lava, which is in a greater volume than 3 weeks of the previous eruption on La Palma in 1971. The lava flow reached the water after making an unpredictable journey towards the ocean, at one stage almost coming in a halt in a flatter terrain. Along the way, there were also several small earthquakes, and new vents were carved up from where lava escaped. Last weekend, La Palma's airport had to be briefly shut down because ash made it impossible to guarantee visibility for pilots. With the lava finally flowing into the ocean, the main concern now is the production of chloride clouds that may impact air quality and affect the surroundings. Arnau Folch, a volcanologist and professor of natural hazards at Spain's National Research Council, said in a phone interview, "It's quite complex situation with many hazards occurring at the same time." The pyramid-like structure off La Palma's coast is expected to be growing as more lava solidifies. In the 1971 eruption, the surface area of La Palma grew by about 5%, Mr. Folch said. On Wednesday, Mr. Torres, the regional leader, told COPE, a Spanish radio station, that since the lava started to spew out, the whole of the Canary Islands has slept very little, including those on La Palma, seized by fear and deep sadness. On Tuesday, the Spanish government allocated 10.5 million euros over 12 million to help La Palma recover. About half of that money is to pay for new houses for those whose homes have been destroyed in the eruption. Well, that's good that they're taking, precautions that way, as far as giving people money that need it. That's a very good thing. But as far as the toxic gases go, you just have to keep your eye on the wind, unfortunately. This is a fluid situation, folks, and I certainly will keep you updated as things progress. But thank you for coming along with me to my update. Please remember to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe. And until the next video, thank you so much, and God bless.